Yes, hello students. This will be my last lecture for mid-semester examination. So today's lecture will be included in the syllabus of mid-sem exam, and after that I will start next part of the unit, that is chopper control drive. So in this we shall discuss the three-phase rectifier controlled DC motor drive. Earlier we discussed the single-phase rectifier controlled DC motor drive. So today we shall start this three-phase rectifier controlled DC motor drive. Now, for smaller motors, we use single-phase rectifier, and for larger motors, for larger power systems, we have to use a three-phase rectifier. And moreover, the performance of the three-phase rectifier fed DC motor will be better as compared to the performance of a single-phase rectifier fed DC motor, because in the case of three-phase rectifier, the ripples in the output voltage are much less as compared to ripples in the single-phase rectifier. So let us review. You already know about the working of a three-phase rectifier. You have already studied two courses on polyelectronics, and you must be knowing about this. But just a brief review I will give you how this system operates. So I have shown here a three-phase bridge rectifier. So I have shown there are 6 thyristors used, 3 legs are there, and in each leg there are 2 thyristors. I have numbered them as T1, T2, T3, T4, T5, T6. They are not numbered in random. They are numbered in the sequence of getting forward biased for this phase sequence. In this phase sequence, VAB, VBC, VCA. I have shown the corresponding negative voltage also. V minus VBA, that is actually it is VBA, that is minus VAB, and VAC is negative of VCA, and VCB is negative of VBC. So there are 6 possible line voltages that appears across the terminals AB. So VAB, VBA, VBC, VCB, and VCA and VAC. There are 6 possible voltages that can appear across the motor terminal depending on which pair of thyristor conducts. So in this, what happens is that one thyristor from the upper half will share conduction with another thyristor of lower half. For example, T1 may conduct with T2 or T6, T3 may conduct with T4 or T2, similarly T5 may conduct with T4 and or T6. So depending on which pair is conducting, output voltage will be either of the 6 line voltages shown here in this figure diagram. So if T1 is conducting, this means that the terminal, output terminal here is A. So this is T1 conductor, so terminal A reaches the motor terminal. This is A. And if suppose T6 is conducting, this means that this is connected, that is off. So here you will get the terminal B reaching here through thyristor T6. So the output voltage will be equal to VAB. And in case T2 is conducting, output voltage will be VAC. So depending on which pair of thyristor is conducting, output voltage could be either of the 6 voltages which are shown here in this phasor diagram. So I have shown here the 6 line voltages that could possibly appear across the motor. So VAB, and the negative of this is VBA. VBC is lagging behind VAB by 120 degrees. So this is VBC, and the negative of this is VCA, VCB. Similarly, the third voltage VCA is lagging behind this voltage VBC by 120 degrees. So this is VCA, and VAC is negative of this voltage. So there are 6 line voltages that I have shown here, and depending on which pair of thyristor is conducting, output voltage could be either of the 6 voltages. So for alpha equal to 0, you can just use it as a thumb rule, that for alpha equal to 0, the topmost voltage always appears across the output. So for alpha equal to 0, this is the waveform. I will just mark it with some color. Suppose I am using red color for this. So this is the topmost voltage will be appearing at the output. That is the maximum voltage out of the 6 phase voltages, 6 line voltages will be appearing across the output for alpha equal to 0. Now you can compare this waveform with the waveform of a single phase rectifier for alpha equal to 0, and this was like this. So you can compare that. This voltage is almost like a DC voltage. It is having much less ripples as compared to the ripples in a single phase rectifier controlled motor. So this is much improvement from the single phase rectifier case. So this means that when this is the topmost voltage, you have just started as a thumb rule, but it is correct. So this means that during this interval, T1 and the volt T6 are conducting. So T1 is conducting from here, and along with the T1, T6 is conducting. So in this interval, the paired T1, T6 are conducting, and after that T2 will become forward bias first, and this you can verify. That is when T1 and T6 are conducting, what is the voltage across T2, you can just find out. So this terminal is C, and T6 is conducting means that this terminal is B. So voltage across the thyristor T2 is equal to VBC. So as soon as VBC becomes positive, the thyristor T2 will start conducting, and you can see that VBC is getting positive here, this instant. So as soon as this voltage becomes positive, T2 starts conducting, and thereafter output voltage will be V, because from the upper half T1 is conducting, from the lower half T2 is conducting. T2 means C, so output voltage will be equal to VAC. In that way, output voltage goes on changing after every 60 degrees interval. So this is the waveform of the output voltage for alpha equal to 0. And if you want to delay the conduction, you don't want alpha equal to 0, then you have to delay the pulses given to the various thyristors shown here. For alpha equal to 0, you have to give the pulses in this manner. You have to give pulse to T1 from this instant, T2 to this from this instant, T3 to this instant. And if you want to delay, then you have to delay the start of the pulses. So for alpha equal to 60 degree, for example, I have delayed the pulse of T1 from this instant to this instant. So this is actually the firing angle. So this much delay has been provided, and that is equal to 60 degrees. I have shown here for 60 degrees. So every thyristor conduction will be delayed by 60 degrees. So if you do this, the output voltage you can show for alpha equal to 60 degrees. I will show it. VAB will not appear at this instant, it will rather appear after delay of 60 degrees. So this is 30 degrees, 60 degrees. So this will appear only after a delay of 60, and before that the earlier conducting thyristor will continue to conduct. So this is the case. So in that way you can draw the waveform of the output voltage for. So this is 30 degrees, 60 degrees, 60 degrees, like this. Output voltage will be like this for alpha equal to 60 degrees. So this is not a class of power electronics, so I will not go into every detail of this. For Dry's purpose, you must know that output voltage is having a much better waveform as compared to single phase rectifier, and the output voltage will have average value, and this I will not write here. You have already done it in your power electronics course. So average value of this output voltage can be derived to be 3 Vm by pi cos alpha. You remember that for single phase rectifier it was equal to 2 Vm by pi cos alpha. Here it is 3 Vm by pi cos alpha, where Vm is the peak value of the line voltage that appears across the input of the rectifier. So this is the only difference is that now you can say that as the voltage is having much less ripples, chances of discontinuous conduction is also very uh, low. So most of the time you will have continuous conduction, except for very low loads, the conduction will be predominantly uh, continuous. So that complication is not there in the analysis also. You can assume that when it is three-phase rectifier, conduction will be continuous. So this is the advantage of having a three-phase rectifier. Now let us see the last topic here that I want to cover here. Selection of input voltage. How do we select the voltage that you are giving to the rectifier? Now, input voltage should be selected such that the output voltage of rectifier, that is the average value of the output voltage of the rectifier, should be equal to the rated voltage of DC motor for alpha equal to 0. That is the maximum output voltage that appears across the motor should be equal to the rated voltage of the DC motor. So, and after that, if you want to reduce the voltage, you have to increase the value of alpha to get the reduced voltage. So the maximum voltage should be equal to the rated voltage of the DC motor. Otherwise, the motor may be fed from a voltage higher than the rated voltage. So this is the condition. So let us take it for single phase rectifier. 2 Vm by pi cos 0, that is cos 0 is 1. So this means that this is the maximum value of average output voltage in the case of single phase rectifier. So this should be equal to the rated voltage of the DC motor, VR. So Vm should be equal to pi VR upon 2. So there is a peak value of the input voltage of single phase rectifier should be equal to pi VR upon 2. This means that the RMS value of the input voltage should be pi VR upon 2 root 2. So this is the requirement. Suppose for this voltage comes out to be 200 volt, and this input voltage that is appearing here is it is 200 volt. For the rated voltage of the DC motor, you have put the value here, and suppose you got it 200 volt. This means that the requirement of input voltage is 200 volt, but the supply available is say 230 volt. Then what is the remedy? Remedy is that you have to interface a transformer between supply line and the rectifier. So you have to use a transformer so that the input voltage of rectifier is equal to 200 volts. So you have to use a step down transformer. If this voltage was a 300 volt, then in that case you have to use here a step up transformer, so that for alpha equal to 0, the voltage reaching here is equal to the rated voltage of the motor. So suppose VL is 230 volt, that is the line voltage available is 230 volt, then you have to use a transformer such that input upon output of the transformer VL upon Vin should be equal to N1 upon N2, that is turn ratio of the transformer should be equal to 230 upon 200. So this is the turn ratio of the required transformer. So transformer is generally needed even in the case of rectifier controlled DC motor drive. So, and similarly for the three-phase rectifier, if you see here, the peak value of the maximum value of the average output voltage here is 3 Vm by pi cos alpha is 1. So that should be equal to rated voltage. So Vm, that is peak value of line to line voltage here, is equal to pi VR upon 3. So the RMS value of the three-phase voltage that is required at the input of the rectifier is pi VR upon 3 root 2. And if you want to know the per phase value of the input voltage, it should be equal to pi VR upon 3 root 2 upon root 2. So this is the per phase value of the required input voltage. And if you are using a three-phase transformer, then you can find out the turn ratio of, or the phase-to-phase turn ratio of the input transformer. So this is the phase value of the line voltage available at the input upon the input voltage required here. That should be equal to turn ratio of the transformer. So that comes out to be like this: pi VR upon 3 root 6 into V in. So in that way, you have to use a transformer such that the DC motor receives the rated voltage for alpha equal to 0 and a smaller voltage as we increase the alpha beyond 0 degrees. So this is all about today's lecture. Now we are left with only some problems that we shall solve in the coming lecture, or maybe I upload some solved example to you and you can see it and you can solve the problem that I will give you for this unit. So that is all for today. Thank you.